Good evening, everybody. This is What's in Your World. I'm your host, Salim. With me, approaching, is Chaz. I'm going to get this sent out real quick because we are live.
Hello.
What are we going to talk about today, Chaz? Actually, no. Let me rephrase. What has been boggling your mind recently?
I'm glad you asked us
Please enlighten us.
Because I try not to get too caught up in political and social problems going on a global or macro scale. But this one, it's progressing in a way that I feel like it's starting to concern me enough that I almost want to I want to chat about it, and I don't know, it's the more I read online, I know online's toxic, and I get that, but you can get a general sense via articles, news, media, mainstream media versus independent news, anywhere from social media comments on Twitter to Reddit and things like that, depending on what you're subscribing to. And if you get this whole picture, you can start to see a generalized view of what's going on in the culture, I feel like. And I've been watching it for a while now, on this kind of scale, just kind of peeking at it. And I really am one of those people that I keep telling my parents and stuff when we talk about it, I'm actually excited about Biden being president. I'm not freaked out about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is scary. I'm excited that the Democrats have all the power for 2 years. You know why? Because I've heard them talk all this game for so long, and now I'm ready for them to show me something.
Well, I mean, if you look at what Joe Biden's doing already,
100%. He's coming out of the gate
doing
real strong.
a lot of things.
It's hard to keep up with actually at the moment.
Yeah.
On the sense of what he's doing, and whatever, they're all going to do this to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like if we had Trump, he wouldn't have been going in there and doing something. He would have making policies. Whether his are better or Biden's are better or whatever, they're both doing it. All they're going to do is undo each other. So when the next person who was going to go in, no matter what, was going to undo whatever Trump did. And then whoever goes in next is going to undo everything that Biden does. This is just a stupid little game. But I'm not worried about any of that. I'm kind of excited about all of that. But what I'm truly concerned about is the word, I can't put it out there right now, but the decrease in our society, in the way that it's folding on itself now, and it's turning into what I'm looking at as this tribalism mentality of politics, where you have, this is what I think in my side is, I'm on the left or the right or whatever it is, whatever the spectrum, the center, what you want to call it, and they're everybody else is just wrong. Everybody's just wrong.
Yep.
End of story. And when I'll even write to some of these people that I already know are extreme, and I'll just kind of pick their brains on well, I mean, is there any reason that you could give credit to the other side or give them leeway?
Mm-hmm.
Anything?
Mm-hmm.
No. They all should just be hung,
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just one side. Both sides on the right and the left spectrum are doing this
Mm-hmm.
on a scale I have not seen. Articles just start off blatantly telling you I'm one-sided now. I mean, it's almost they might as well say, I'm on the right or I'm on the left, and here's what I'm about to tell you. And they will go out of their way to try to just disprove and make the other side look as bad as they can.
Mm-hmm.
In every form or fashion, to where I can't trust anybody anymore. You can't trust anybody. And I don't know, this one concerns me because the people between cancel culture and delay culture and all these massive abilities to just ban things and stuff like that. I'm not against the law on that. There's an all-encompassing picture of tribalism going on in the hatred that for Trump. Okay, the dude wouldn't shut up, and he's not the best ever in the form of presidential abilities, but come on. Did he really deserve what he got for 4 years? And I think that was a 4-year build-up to where we are now. And it's I almost do see, when people ask, was Trump, was he good for America as a president? I almost think to myself, I don't know now. only for the sense like no president can really do that much damage in a sense, but like
And
I don't
feel
know
like
anymore.
I feel like us having Trump has made us forget that in a way.
Yes.
But like, have we really ever been like, okay, a lot of people enjoyed Obama, right?
Yeah.
But we also know about like the wars but
Yeah.
then you go back and you think, oh, Bush did the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, but Clinton
did
too.
the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait,
They all
other
did,
Bush.
yeah.
Oh, wait, and it
Yes.
just goes back and
Yeah,
back
man.
and back, and
Yeah.
it's like I don't think it's a job anybody can be 100% of people can be satisfied with.
No.
In any government, any country, anywhere. Like it's never going to be a thing. I think, you have to just do your best, and if people are going to agree with it, whatever.
But now it's like, if we don't agree with it, then we want to kill you or change you. Like I love the politicians that are talking about deprogramming people. Like, what? And having ban lists and all these weird little authoritarian things going on at that level. I think, man, that's getting creepy in itself, And like, I don't know, the whole thing just we're at a really weird state.
This brings me to a question I was actually thinking about in the shower today. I was ready to ask you.
Ooh, shower
I'm
thoughts.
so glad. Yeah, it was a shower thought, I guess. But what are you thinking in the sense of, like, with cancel culture, for example, do you think people are really allowed to say what they want to say nowadays?
No. I don't. I think there are.
And tell me why.
I think there's a
like,
PR.
Is freedom of speech really freedom of speech?
That one's hard. Yes and no. I think that one's dependent on who you are. You're Donald Trump. I don't know.
Because, I mean, obviously, like, you learn as a kid that when you say things, there can be consequences.
Yes. But at the same time, if you take away freedom of speech, which is the only alternative to this, then you go down some really dark roads. Like that has never played out well in history.
Yeah.
Never. I've never heard of it playing out well. I've never had anybody tell me there was a time that it played out well. This does not play out well.
Well, I mean, and the only other time it plays out is when somebody gets killed.
People die.
The end
of the story is
there's
people
no
die.
silence. It's just murder.
No, it's all death.
We're not going to silence you. We're just going to kill you.
Look, you if you create actions on people and societies, you're going to have people and societies have reactions in return. And they are going to be the same or bigger. And you don't know what they're going to be because this is like economics. Economics is trying to read massive amounts of people and what they want to buy and sell, right? Just like 300 million people. You want to try to figure out what 300 million people want to buy and sell on a day-to-day basis. This is impossible to do because once you try to figure it out, it's already changed. It's already changed. All their needs and want. I don't want to buy the same thing a year ago that I'm buying today for the most part. Like things change. Now I'm still buying the same laundry detergent or whatever.
Sure.
But like for the most part, I'm getting different things, new things. My life's changing. Technology is changing. So like, there's just a point. I don't know, man. The whole thing just bothers me. It just bothers me. Like this one, it's a struggle, and there's no winning this game. And
do you think? Sorry to just come at you with this one. Do you think technology is going to improve this, or do you think it's going to make it worse for us for any like individual that is thinking about this?
This has been one of my favorite thoughts because I think that whatever you place upon people and this idea that like we're going to limit freedom of speech from you digitally, or we're going to deplatform you digitally to kind of control you and your speech and whatever it is. I think that's a temporary thing that's going on right now. Like I don't agree with it on a moral aspect. I agree with it on a legal aspect. And these are two completely different things in my head. Because I don't want to get into that. But there's a future to this, in my opinion. And I think that we're going to grow out of this. Once you create these problems, you'll watch the digital world find solutions. A prime example would be money. We had a financial crisis in 2008. We all realized we're all screwed coming into the near future, whatever it is, within 50 to 100 years. We've got to make real solutions because this is unsustainable. Within a year, you see Bitcoin come out. People are going to solve problems digitally, regardless how you want to react or do things to it. And that's what's going to happen here. You've just created a 2008 financial crisis of freedom of speech and freedom of digital stuff. You're going to see this is where the decentralized world of the internet is going to really play
100%.
in. And when you have Parler or Twitter on the decentralized web, end of story. You now cannot deplatform or block Trump anymore.
Or anyone.
Or anyone. And you can hate that thing is up and running, but there's no calling Amazon to have it shut down.
So does that mean there's going to be a lot more anonymous things in terms of like you are a user and you are able to like share and post things, yada, yada, yada. Is that going to be completely, do you think it's going to end up being completely private?
Like 4chan private, where it's just like everybody's just named anonymous?
Because if we're following the same trend that's happening with money, right? Where Bitcoin, if you own crypto, like nobody can really
they don't know
it's you.
They can, but it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I do. And there's an autonomous. No, I think that you're still going to have an identity. There's still an attachment to who you are in some form.
Okay, yeah, sure.
You'll still be. They may not know your name, but they can track you. They'll be able to watch you in some aspects. It'll be very difficult, but the crypto world and the blockchain world still has some level of like trails that you leave behind, and people can find it. And if you come in and out of an exchange, well, then game over. They know exactly who you are actually at this point, because then they can just get the information from the exchange. And once you move money out, they'll just track every transaction that took place after that, and then they see where it spreads essentially. So anywhere that money goes, they now know you had something to do with it.
Oh wow!
So
you never told me about this part.
Yes. All right. Well, this gets into the deeper aspect of like there are Zcash and Monero and things like that don't keep track. And it truly is anonymous.
Okay.
And there's a lot of dark web, markets that use this stuff for that reason or whatever. But those are actually most likely going to start getting outlawed. And we're watching exchanges now drop them because I think they already know this is not going to go well. Like they're going to become illegal essentially on an exchange mass level. You can still buy and sell them on like a black market sense legally, but you just can't do it through like a public exchange in a sense.
Does Ripple have anything to do with this?
XRP? No,
and just like enlighten everyone what that is.
So you're more asking like on a global remittance, and that really means like the transition between countries of value. So like I got to get from $1 to a peso. That process has to take place, and that's really what Ripple and XRP are trying to solve. And I guess in a sense, you can still track everything. They're really not concerned about the tracking portion of this.
Okay.
So you can definitely track all of that, and they're not going to dive into the privacy aspect. And I think a lot of them really won't. I think you'll see and look, there are still ways of.
But is that why Ripple got in trouble?
No, they got in trouble for their SEC lawsuit issue. They got in trouble.
So, okay, describe what Ripple is in the crypto world.
Okay, so Ripple's the company, actually.
Right?
Ripple's a company who created a cryptocurrency and released it out there. And then when they released it, Ripple, the company, could die today, and XRP would be just fine. It'd be like nothing ever changed that exists without them. It is decentralized. But it's just a currency, and that's all it is. But its main goal is Ripple builds products on top, software products on top of that kind of utilize this XRP currency, crypto, and they utilize it by allowing you to buy it with any currency you want, transfer it to anywhere you want, and then retransfer it back into any currency you want. And the way they've done that is they pretty much partner with exchanges all around the world. And then they have what they call is this on-demand liquidity, and they have a crap ton of money sitting around waiting for these massive amounts of transactions to take place. So when the money goes from dollar to peso, this past year alone, just this past year, they've had anywhere between $5 billion to $12 billion in transactions through XRP, Ripple's network, just from America to Mexico. And they call that a corridor. That's one corridor. And we've got they don't do just America to whatever. They do China to, Singapore or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like the amount of corridors they're trying to cover is just astronomical. And they already did billions this past year. in this one corridor. And the way that works is the dollar essentially goes into an exchange, gets converted into XRP instantly, gets sent over to another exchange in Mexico that has a bunch of peso sitting in liquidity, and then just converts it back into peso and gives it to that customer. And this all happens in like 3 seconds. It is unbelievably fast, and it's pennies. It costs pennies. So Western Union uses this. So if you transfer money through Western Union across borders to another country, then it's going to go through XRP and Ripple system most likely.
And that's recent?
Yeah, this is with Ripple actually bought a giant stakehold in Western Union, and then the price of their stock skyrocketed, and they just sold half of their stock out of it to make some cash on that one. And then they were like, we kind of want to get out of Western Union, let them kind of they kind of came in and were like, hey, we know you're not who's the big one? It's not no, so I'm talking about MoneyGram. Western Union's the big one that they're trying to go after. So they came into MoneyGram and they said, MoneyGram, y'all are small, y'all are trying to build your way up. We'll invest in you, take on our software, be the first one to actually use this commercially pretty much.
Okay.
And then they took off with it, and they've just proven, in a sense. Now they have
So can you transfer? Is it still transferred through XRP?
Like through
Western Union?
No,
like
not through Western
Union
Union yet, but MoneyGram. Sorry, that was
they're
my
trying
mistake.
to get Western Union.
It'll flow.
Okay.
It'll happen. It's one of those things that like once enough, they have like 300 or 400 customers worldwide. They're utilizing from banks to transfer companies like.
And when we talk about customers, we're not talking about like people. We're talking about corporations.
Santander is a bank.
Oh wow, yeah. I know about that. They're on every Champions League. When you watch TV, they're all over.
They are officially using Ripple across the board. And they're even talking about this new app that they're about to come out with. That's going to have you're going to start seeing powered by Ripple or powered by RippleNet on things, and that's going to be Ripple is not something you'll ever see. You should never know how Ripple works and how XRP and this whole process works. You just press buttons on your phone, and everything's just done in seconds for you for absolutely no cost. And in the background, this whole process is being taken place. This gets into a deeper conversation because if you want to talk about the way it's being done currently, then you'll understand how. This is where when I first got into Ripple, I thought, this is cool, but how's it being done now? Like, this is a cool, but like, this sounds like, why aren't we already doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you mean we don't already transfer money instantly for free? This is 2020.
Then please elaborate more.
So like, it was this one guy on this thread that I was on for XRP that asked one question, and it changed everything after that. And it was, how was the cheapest, fastest way to get millions of dollars from, like, let's just pretend New York City to England?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the bank, you put it in cash in bags, you get on a flight, you fly it there.
That's the cheapest way.
That's the cheapest, fastest way you could make that happen. Otherwise, you're going to wait days, maybe weeks, and you're going to spend thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands, depending on the transaction. This is extremely slow and costly.
What?
That's the system we're dealing with right now when it comes to global transfer of value. So if you wanted to transfer billions of dollars, you imagine this would take weeks, months, and it would cost tens of thousands. Who knows, actually, in fees. Just in fees. And apparently, there's like some 10% of all transactions globally or some crap like that just are lost. They're just lost.
Wow.
Because the system's so old and decrepit that it's just lost.
Fascinating.
Dude, it's the deeper I dove into that system, the more I realized this shit's broken really bad. And these guys are the first to come in and be like, whoa, I think we found a way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And not have to be the reliant central party. Ripple can die, and their software continues to run.
Would you say that's selfless?
In a lot of ways, it is. Now, the reason why they're being sued is because when they created all of this, they put it into their own hands, a billion XRP in their own hands, and then they got to do with it what they wanted at that point. So they got to sell it to anybody they wanted, and they are claiming that was more like a stock. So but at that point, it's a currency. It's not a stock. This is the most idiotic conversation I've ever had with anybody online. Is like, this is not a stock. If you know anything about XRP, Japan has declared it a currency. Tokyo has declared it a currency. England has declared it a currency.
I mean, Japan, Tokyo.
Huh?
Japan.
No, sorry, Hong Kong. I think it was Hong Kong.
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
But yeah, Japan has, and England also has, like, full on, has regulated government-wide. This is a currency.
What do you think that does to the central banking system?
Central banking systems have already jumped on board to start.
Is there central banking systems? Is it?
Yeah,
I feel like it's just a.
no. There's a central bank in some form or fashion in every country.
But it's centralized. Like,
So
is it
each-
not?
so
Because they're all connected in a way.
Each currency, I guess you could say, each currency is based on a government, and each government has a central bank to manage that. You know, we have the Federal Reserve,
Okay.
and the Federal Reserve is essentially our central bank.
Okay.
You know, and so if we want to talk about the Federal Reserve in our country for the dollar, we would essentially jump onto a blockchain and then issue out a digital currency and then back it by something.
Okay.
You know, and it can be backed by anything. You can back it by gold, or you could back it by nothing. You know, like anything in between.
Mm-hmm.
Back it to cows if you wanted to. It really does not matter. So at some point, there's already other countries who have decided to do this. They already said they're doing it. They call them central bank digital coins, CBDCs. I think is what they call them, something like that. They've already declared this is already happening. So it's just like, which are you going to create your own chain, which is kind of not doable because then you have to have all these people run it. So then it just becomes centralized because only you're running it. So then you have to jump onto a chain that is decentralized but can actually manage all of this. And so you want something that is going to be super fast and scalable. And what's super fast, super cheap, and XRP. But there's also Stellar. XLM is also, which is the same code. It's the same thing. But you know, but they're attacking two different problems. That's why Acoin and Acon with his city, he's developing a coin, the token currency on top of Stellar. So really,
So it's
Stellar's
like decentralized decentralization.
pretty much. Yeah, he's fully decentralized in that city.
Wow.
Yeah,
and we talked about this before on the show.
Yeah. So like
in Senegal.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
So like he's not even like he'll have no real control over that.
Which
in a sense. Yeah.
that can.
I mean,
I feel like if we think about corruption in like in a historical term, it oftentimes will root from the person who has the power of all of that. And when you take that away, like what we were just talking,
people.
what we were talking about presidents, right?
Yeah.
Regardless if we like them or not, they, you know, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But if you totally take that out of the picture, I mean, I wish I knew more in philosophy and
well, the problem is, all right, so like I thought in my head in the future we could have decentralized governments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they could be decentralized voting systems, all of this. You can wipe out all, like most of what the government and who they are, they don't need to be there, and we could just wipe them out because we'll make a set of laws that we all agreed upon, in a sense, you know, just the way the Founding Fathers did. And this code will then run the system, you know, so judges will no longer be people. Things like this will all be automated in a sense in the future. How do you get to that? How do you tell the president or people in Congress or federal, you know, employees of the government that they no longer have a job and they're no longer going to be needed anymore? Every year we only have more and more people in the government. This is how it gets so big over hundreds of years, because you never stop adding people to it. And then you can never tell people that they're not going to have a job next year. So where does it go? Nowhere good. If you look at history, this does not lead anywhere good. It could be 500 years. I'm not saying this is tomorrow. But it doesn't go anywhere good. When I always looked at it as Rome. Rome expanded too far. They devalued their currency heavily. They started giving out social welfare and just giving out free stuff to all their citizens. And then they just became like authoritarian in a sense in a lot of ways. Like, we're watching a lot of the same things take place where we're just totally devaluing our currency in a way that we've never seen before. Like, on a whole nother level. Trump did nothing to help that. I don't think he really could. I don't think any president really can at this point. I think it's out of their hands.
I think it's bigger than the United States of America.
Yeah.
I think COVID's shown us that too.
Oh, COVID did bring out a lot, man.
Because I think it was a wake up call for people to be like, oh, we're not the only ones in a sense.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
because America, regardless of what, I feel like America is its own bubble.
Well, yeah, well,
Because what other country,
we've been
for
propagated
example,
that way.
what other country has divided states, right? Different states, but also looks the same everywhere in the sense that every, intersection or every exit off of a highway in America, it's going to have like the same couple things
No, but there's
for a majority,
But here's the conversation I always love having with people when we go down this road is what about America exactly is like anything else in the world?
Yeah, no, and I'm not
We're
saying
so
it's a good or a bad thing,
And I'm not going
but
down
it
that road.
is its own.
We are truly leading the way in a whole new thing that has never been done before in the history of mankind, from what we understand.
Whether good or bad.
Whether good or bad. I don't care how you look at
Right.
it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No one's seen a melting pot to this degree. I mean, there is no other country that has this many diverse people. And we want to say that we're a racist country. We're the most non-racist country ever, actually. Like there are racist people. We have 300 million people. I think we're more than that, like 320 to 350. It's a ton of course we have racist people. We're going to have all kinds of crazy people. There's so many of us.
I mean,
So, like, yeah.
we haven't had a genocide in America. I'm not saying like,
Yeah.
but like in a lot of countries, like even smaller ones,
yeah.
where there's not this many people.
What other countries do you see making laws that the way we do for civil rights and women's and all? This is what I always tell people. This is how you know how much we care about women in America versus other countries. Is watch women play soccer versus other countries. We watch women play sports versus other countries in America. We're so far better because we care. We have Title IX. We spend the money. We set the laws. We're going to make sure those women get what they deserve. F you men for just taking over athletes in sports. We're going to make sure you women get this.
And I mean, it's only the beginning.
I'm not.
It's only the beginning
I'm
of
not
that,
even hating on it at all.
Yeah.
I love the fact.
Well, because it's only the beginning of it,
For sure.
But we, like you said, we are definitely, in some of these things, we are definitely leading the way.
We are leading the way, and so how is it that such a diverse place with 320 million people in such a vast amount of land with 50 different economies trying to work together under one roof have made it this long and done this well and become such a power? Now, I'm not trying to say everything America's done has been so
Well,
great.
I mean, and this is
We
a
got
really
dark history.
tense subject.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
really, like I've noticed in this
For sure.
conversation, I have definitely tensed
sure.
up a bit
For sure.
because it's like
Because people see this, it's a heated topic. People see
Uh-huh.
this all different kinds of ways. And
I think our current state of
if we were big, we'd be on the cancel culture right now. We'd be getting canceled real quick. But luckily, no one's going to watch this for a long time, so we're good for a while. No, I mean, look, man, I see where you're going. I see what you're saying. And
I the same.
I think at the same time, I don't know. I guess to kind of wrap this all around, to come back to the original point, I think we're all going to work this out in technology, and it's going to work. It's going to end up solving problems where we need to solve problems eventually. My only real concern in the long term for our country is a revolution or revolt of some sort, and then shit gets real. Look, what they did at the Capitol was just a bunch of Instagrammers playing a joke to me. Like what a stupid thing that was. I really think we blew that one out of proportion. And like, do we really think those guys were gonna like take over our government by going into the Capitol? Like, is that how that works? Like, I feel like there's like a big glowy thing that it's sitting in the middle of the Capitol that if they go get it, they own the government.
Right, we talked about this.
That part just doesn't make sense to me. These
It's
guys
like,
are
imagine, man, you're going there. You're like, when we get there, if we do this right, this country's ours.
It's ours.
That building right there is gonna be the difference.
We own this
that
country.
makes
Oh,
us
dude.
own this country.
I just wish I could go around and like see and know what these people's mentality and like honestly, and I'm really shocked that they all didn't die.
Yep.
Every one
Yep.
of them. I'm
Sorry
shocked
about
that
that.
there weren't armed guards sitting around just shooting people. And guess
And
what?
I think that's
I'd
why
say-
it was such a laughing stock for other countries.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they would have.
Well, and see, there
You
is
know?
again, though. In other countries, you're right. It would have killed you instantly. But in America, we're not so we're not just gonna shoot at you and that we don't know how that's gonna be. We don't know where that's gonna go. It's so different here.
Yeah.
We have so many cultures. We have so many things trying to play as one. This is why I say you can't give the federal government too much power because you need to let, in a place that is this big, you need to have 50 little economies and governments working on their own. And really, the federal government is just there to protect the people and facilitate foreign affairs and trade. Done.
100%.
End of story.
That's why it all needs to be local.
Yes.
Do it local.
Let states
Talk to the
run
people
themselves.
you know.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And don't trust people
Yes.
that are thousands of miles away that don't know what you're going through.
Yeah.
You know?
Much. And
And
look.
when I worked in politics, that was like the biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
Because like it made me not want to really get back into that.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Because once you see it at a bigger scale
Yeah.
and see what goes on, you don't want to go back.
Yeah.
But the takeaway is the real change happens when you're actually talking to the people in the community.
Yes.
When you actually know exactly what they're going through,
Yeah.
and you don't take into account all the money and the this and that, which, I mean, it's politics. Of course, that's always going to be into play. But you
Some
know.
of those guys.
I wish there was a way for that not to be the case, in a sense.
Yeah.
But it would never work. And anytime I've brought that up, that's what I hear. It would never work without all that money being into play. Because if you think about any sort of...
See, I've talked to my dad actually about this one before, and I think the way we kind of have, the way he has made me understand it over time, and I remember him even saying this growing up. My dad loves politics. Holy crap! So like I've always remember hearing some like minor things that have come back to like make me kind of chuckle now. And one was like, that's just a professional politician. Yeah. And it makes sense when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I totally understand what he's saying. In the old days, you were like some kind of like landowner or like businessman that also did politics on the side, and that's like why Senate and Congress and all that, they meet only for like a certain period of time or whatever, because normally you go back to your jobs, you know, like so that was the original way, but now it's just career politicians. That's all you do your whole life. You're bred and born to just be in career.
And the reason that is, though, is because they can make so much money.
Well, yeah, that's where crony capitalism comes in. You created this tie where now government can be bought out to get the rules and regulations that companies want to then control markets and things like that. And then it gets so crazy. It just grows and grows and grows. It starts off small, and then I think the founding fathers were so great, but they missed some big things clearly. Because
it's funny. These are a lot of the things we talked about last week after we got off air.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. I forgot we had that conversation. You know, like I'd love to go back and just be like, guys, at scale, let's think about this thing at scale. You know, like you've allowed these things, so pretend that we go off on it for 200, 300 years. Like this, you know, and I don't think they I don't know. Look, they did a really hell of a good job because no one's ever been able to get as far as we've gotten, in my opinion. And I think we have majorly led the way in so many ways in the world in technology and advancement. You know, not saying other countries have not made advancements, because they have for sure, but when you start looking at the list, it's pretty much like gold medals in the Olympics. America is impressive. We're like this baby in the world that just everybody flocked to. And the way I've always thought about it is like, I guess we were made up of all of the pioneers and the rebels of the world. You weren't scared to get on a boat and come across for weeks and risk your life and your family's life to come over here. You were the ballsy one, you know? You were the one that was willing back then. So our ancestors were
unwilling.
Or unwilling. Yeah, it's not, okay, well, yeah, you did have some... Man, I give them...
But still, you know...
There's a lot of... I hate getting into this one, but in a lot of ways, today they're probably better off. yes, their ancestors went through crap, and I'm not saying that was great at all for a lot of like slaves. And things
Jesus, you.
for sure, no.
Oh.
But like
What are
today,
this has gone off the
they
rails,
could be
man.
in like a really dark place in some other far off country. Like most of Africa is not developed and is in
Well, but that's
in
because of
slavery
Europe.
still.
But
You
that's
know,
because of.
it doesn't matter what it's because of, but that's the way it still is today.
Sure.
So would you rather be living there or here? I don't look. What happened to their ancestors is effed up.
I don't think that's anything for me to say. You know.
But for sure. But I'm just saying, like, I try to find the bright side in some form or fashion.
Sure.
As of today,
Yeah.
you know, like where are we today with it? You know, and I think this leads back to tribalism. We just get in this tribalism mode of like my area, like South versus the North. What tribalism? But we've been doing this forever. You know, it's not new in a sense. It's just a different story, you know, than the last one.
Yeah.
But same idea. We just get in these tribalism modes, and that's it. And I don't know why. Like, I don't care what happened to your ancestors because I don't care what happened to my ancestors. It has nothing to do with us today. So let's just work together today, and we can just like chat about the history of it and talk about how effed up all of it was.
Yep.
You know, like. No doubt what my ancestors did were probably really messed up, man. I have no doubt in that at all. Like, I'm super sorry. I don't know what you want me to do about that, you know?
There
all
was
I can do is not
there
let it
was
happen.
I can't remember what happened, but we were talking about white guilt. And,
Yeah. That's fine,
as a, cause like you know, I'm Muslim, but I'm white,
yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
they said, you've probably faced enough racism as a Muslim to compensate for your whiteness.
That's actually hilarious, man. Yeah, because like white's like one of the worst to be right now.
Right, but so is Muslim.
So,
right?
and I was gonna say, and Muslim ain't too much better, to be honest with you.
Right.
So you got a double dose, man. You got a double dose of it, man. That's actually really funny. Holy crap.
Oh man.
Yeah. So like when you go over to the Middle East,
I do not.
You
Yeah,
fit
no,
in
dude.
in
When
a
I was in
sense of-
Jordan 2 summers ago, I was the white guy. I was a white guy.
that's crazy.
But I mean, also like it's not like I'm great at Arabic too, so it's like.
And what's it?
But
like?
I mean, I can pass off as like Turkish, right? Like they'll be like, oh yeah, I get it, you're Turkish.
all right.
but-
Let me. And this may be a totally naive question.
Okay.
All right. And I just don't know because I've always wanted to go to the Middle East. I've never been. And like my own sister-in-law is from the Middle East,
Mhm.
born and raised. So like I'll get over there eventually. This may be a totally naive question. Is there like any kind of, do you feel any shaming or looked down upon or any of that crap, racism or any of that crap when you're over there? No, so they're totally accepting, don't care. And if I were to come over there, totally accepting.
in the places I was, yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I would say I was in more urban
You go to
areas,
the
I
wrong
guess.
place in freaking
Anywhere.
Alabama.
I mean,
it's not
yeah.
gonna go well for you.
Yeah,
man.
I
So,
mean,
like,
maybe if you go to like the villages, you know, the less
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that would be like going to like the middle of
But
Indiana,
you're in,
you know,
main
like
cities. You're not-
yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, bigger cities,
You're a
yeah,
metropolitan
and
area.
where I grew up in Saudi Arabia is like I think it's the second biggest city in the eastern
millions
province.
of people living around this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I just
And
that's
like
kinda
yeah,
the
when
way
I
I've
was in
always
Jordan too.
thought of it, but you just look, man. The way the media always portrays shit is crazy, and so like I don't really know
Yeah,
what to
yeah.
believe anymore at this point.
I mean, as long as you don't look like a tourist, you know,
yeah.
like, come on, just like be yourself. I
Yeah.
think that's like
They jive off your
traveling
shot.
101,
Yeah,
man.
that's
Be
fair.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Amen to
I
that.
remember growing up and like when I would come to America, and I always was like I would like mentally become a different person, you know. And I think this is what helped
Holy
me train.
shit! Keep going. I like.
It
this.
would like I think this subconsciously began to like train me as a kid, and then you know, firstly it caused a lot of like shame, I'd say, in myself because like growing
Why?
up,
Why would you
well,
say
like
shame?
in 7th grade going to a all white school, or like no, second to moving to America in 2nd grade,
Yeah.
going to like this. I went to an all white public school. I'd only been to private school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I had gone from like feeling like I was the only white kid in Saudi to like the only Muslim kid in Birmingham.
That's
or
yeah,
at my
that's true, 'cause
school.
that's how they would have looked at you.
Yeah,
for sure.
and so like I had subconsciously I'm like dealing with this, I guess, and then this is what helped me long term. Except like I'm just me. I'm not labeled as this or that.
Where do you think those pressures
me.
came from growing up as a kid? You can't just.
I don't know, society, like just
that's
like
not
day to
natural.
day life, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? But like at that age,
Cause like okay, I'll just like I remember like being in public and like seeing things like people giving us looks. You know,
now is this because y'all are wearing something?
no, this is here. Yeah, this is here. Yeah,
Yeah.
because my mom and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know,
Which is
for
a-
me,
a
for me,
totally
for
ridiculous
me,
that
it's
anybody
like
does that
for me
crap.
by myself, it's
Yeah.
like I'm just a white dude,
Yeah,
right? But like
yeah.
you know, with
But you feel the judgment when you're trying to, I don't know, live your culture.
sure,
You know, well, I mean, and I know where you come from, here in Birmingham, so like totally see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
and I have totally
yeah,
seen
in the
that
part of
happen.
the city that I lived in,
For sure, it's almost a concentrated
Yeah.
part of this that's gonna
yeah,
do that.
and like, anyways, but
Yeah.
that just now if I travel,
Yeah.
I just know like when I went to Jordan, I had a great time.
Yeah.
Like and I hadn't been to the Middle East since I was like
Yeah.
5th, 6th grade.
Yeah.
You know, and like I had overcome all these things, and like now I was like I was myself, and even though I was not great at Arabic, I like got along. I remember hanging out at a barbershop until like 6 a.m. one day. 6 a.m. We're just hanging out drinking tea at a barbershop.
So random.
Got a fire cut. My cousin got a fire cut. We were just chatting it up.
Did you even know the people?
No,
Like, yeah, no.
that was the first time I met them.
Yeah, that sounds like you. Yeah.
And like I get there and it's like tea's being poured.
That's
Like, have a seat.
cool as shit.
Need anything?
But see, you like, all right, so you've like learned to a certain subtle degree the cultures.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
when
yeah.
you go between, you almost know how to.
Yeah, because
fit
you
into
do
the
have to. You
cultures.
do have to kind of just like
There's no doubt. Look, if
You know.
you
It's not like you have to. You have to stick to I am this. You know.
super
That's the thing. You
social
have to be
people
fluid.
who are extroverts, and you are totally extroverted.
Mhm.
You're. I've always looked, and I do this too. I find myself doing it. Mallory's called me out on it before many times. You mold per place you're in, or situation you're in, or person you're talking to,
Yeah.
based on what they're giving you and how they're doing things, and you try to find that same frequency. And you try to align, and there's nothing you can really do about it. That's just who you are. That's
Yeah.
just the way it works. So I feel like when you travel, it's just more heightened in the sense that like you really have to fluctuate to a whole new culture. But like, I know to you this is nothing, you know. To someone else, like many people, this would be impossible.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there that could never pull that off, you know.
And I guess I was lucky to have been able to see both growing up.
Yes.
You know,
At a young
because
age.
like, if not, I doubt I
Yeah.
would have. You know.
Yeah.
And it's not like that was the only reason, because like I'm much more different than all of my siblings.
Yeah.
You know, but we were all very different ages when we came here.
Yeah.
Like,
It impacted you all differently. you all
because
spent
I
your
was
time-
like, to be honest, I was the youngest in my family.
Yeah.
So I had the most time here.
Yeah.
You know,
But you've still gotten to go back and
Yeah.
get that culture over
Yeah,
and
yeah.
over and over again. Kind
not over and over again, but like you remember
yeah.
things.
Yes,
and
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, like, it's one of those. The differences in cultures between there, I think, is some of the more vast and the more civilized.
Sure,
worlds. And so
sure.
I've always wanted to go experience it
I mean, yeah, culture shock is always going to be real.
for sure.
But I think
I'm such a traveler.
for some reason,
I
like
don't
this
care. I
brings
would-
me to this like thought that like truth has no language, and in the sense that like if you go to a place and you're truthful to like yourself and whatever, you don't need to like be able to talk to people. I mean, obviously we have our phones now, for
Yeah.
example, and we can
For
Google
sure.
Translate if we need to.
for sure.
But like the right eye contact and
There's
and
a
all these
basic
things.
human body language. There's a basic human language.
And we have to love that us as humans can
Yeah.
we can really access that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
More than any mammal for sure.
really weird side story that has to do with that. I was
Yeah.
listening to Joe Rogan.
Okay.
And one of the guys in Joe Rogan was talking about aliens or whatever. And he
Okay.
was like, they don't have any expressions or anything like that. No, nothing. He was like, well, the more I thought about it, and this is why it hit me, that like this is a really interesting thought. If you're talking internally and you can share emotions and you can really get on a different level internally with another person, then why would you have to show any emotion? Why would you have to show anything? They feel it. They are in tune with it. So now all of what we do has been formed through evolution as humans in society to become body language for each other. It's how we communicate at a very fundamental level. Is we won't need it one day. That will be a lost thing.
Yeah.
Really weird because you're right. There's a basic human body language, and it exists. And no matter where you go, there's a friendly. I think Jordan Peterson actually. I heard him talk about it. It's like seeing dogs. You know, what dogs are friendly. You know what dogs are looking angry. You know what dogs are. You know, like you kind of can see the demeanor of a dog just by looking at them. You know, and
Yeah.
it's the same kind of idea. You can see some people. Now, don't get me wrong; there are always bad actors, but you
Right, but that's the thing. That's not the truth, right?
No, yeah,
When it is the truth,
yes.
you know, it needs no language.
Well, and if you're really in tune, then you'll probably see these people.
Exactly.
If you're not in tune, you get tricked, and that's where the dark sides come. But no, for real.
That's a whole nother topic.
But if I think you're in tune and you're paying attention, which I am in a heightened sense when I'm traveling, just because like there's so much happening, and I don't know.
I miss it. I miss being in an airport and seeing so many people.
We need to travel together, man.
Yeah.
I love travel.
I love travel.
I'll go as long as I need to go, as far as I need to go. Let's just keep going, you know? Like, I'll just go until I crash. And then when I crash, I got to crash them, you know? But that's why I loved my honeymoon. Cause my honeymoon,
Oh, are you talking about, like, road tripping?
Any kind of trip.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Any kind.
All of it. Oh, yeah, me too.
But I'm just saying, like, I loved going. I don't like to be in just one place. Like, we went to Vegas, but we stayed there for, like, 1 or 2 days. And then we were gone. Let's go to L.A. Let's go to Zion National Park. Let's go to the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
You know, let's go stay in a container in Utah.
Because then it becomes a constant vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, I'm sure a lot of people would say this. If you go on, like, a 2-week vacation, by the end of that second week, you're like, you feel like you've lived here for a bit.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's very different.
Yes.
It's
I
very
couldn't
different.
spend 2 weeks or a whole week in Vegas.
Yeah, no,
I don't think. I mean, unless I just had
unless
so
it's
much
a
money
place
to
I
see all the
want to
shows and
actually
stuff.
live.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. So like we were like, let's just enjoy it for a day or two, and then let's get
Nice.
out of there, you know, and then let's
Yeah.
go somewhere else and go do some other stuff, you know. And we're like, well, what's all the stuff near it, you know? And I just feel like there's a travel mentality.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the go. Let's go see because we want to experience the next culture, the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
What else is out there?
Mm-hmm.
And every time we get open, and when she saw Utah, it was her first time out west. I loved it experiencing with her because she just had to stop and get out of the car just to see the stars.
Mm.
She never experienced stars like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And like now it's like, oh my God, I see the beauty on this side of the country that I had never understood existed. I thought this place in the world was beautiful, but this, oh my, and it's like, man, I almost kind of miss it because I've already seen this before, or like this area, but like seeing Zion to me was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. We need to go travel, man.
Yeah,
we need to
let's
go do this. I need to go travel internationally with you though.
Yeah.
That is a whole nother ball game and a whole lot of fun.
International travel is so sick.
But it's just the flight over there and the flight back.
Yep.
I don't want to do that.
You don't like flying?
Not for friggin' 10, 12, 13,
Oh
14.
man, I can do it. I can do it, no problem.
I'm so cramped. And then
I remember being on like a 17-hour flight
no. See,
when I was a kid.
No. I've done 13 to Germany, and that is the longest I ever went.
Only once?
Well, we came back, but
Okay,
it was like
there,
11, so
Yeah, sure,
the longest was 13, and
Sure.
I do not. I've done a bunch of 8-hour flights. To get to Alaska, that was like a bunch of flights. That was all day of flying, you know. I don't know what's worse, 13 hours straight or like 3 flights in like 13 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know which one's worse, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But I don't know. Like, I like flying. I love the experience. I love going to the airport, getting dropped off. I love going through security.
I love watching people.
I love.
I
There's
love
so much to watch.
Yeah.
You're totally right, man.
Because, like, I don't know. With me in my mind, like I'm in a place where there's a ton of people, and I'm just like creating little stories in my head.
Yes.
What's going on? You know.
Yes. 100%.
And you can call me a creep.
Where
I
they
don't
going?
I don't care. But like, you just like create little. You know.
It's not.
And it's just like fun. I guess that's my creative.
I totally see that as like totally natural and normal, and like what most people should be doing. You know, like enjoy yourself in your head over there. You know, like just people watch. I love people watching. People are fascinating.
I miss it so much.
Yeah, and traveling internationally, then you see some really interesting stuff.
Because then you're watching people have conversations in different languages.
Yeah.
You're like, now I wonder what they're saying.
Yes.
You know, like
I always love them. Like, are they angry?
You're right.
Or they? Nope. I think they're happy. I think they're laughing. You know, like I don't know.
And that goes back to like body language.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm trying to read their body language.
Yep.
I guess the tone a little bit of their voice.
Sure.
Because like I've noticed the tone is like it's very hard with German. So like it's
and a lot of
they almost sound always angry.
A lot.
Don't pay attention to it. You know. All right, I gotta tell this little story.
Okay.
And I'll try to make it quick. It was a flight that I was on one time, and I got on this flight, and suddenly out of nowhere they stopped the flight. We sit there for like an hour. And I'm doing
You're in the air?
No. We were backing up off.
Oh, okay. And you stopped. Okay,
and we were there for like an hour.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And then like cop cars start pulling around and stuff. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Again, this is a super condensed version.
Okay.
So they come on over the mic and they're like, hey, we need to go ahead and get everybody off the plane right now. And we'll end on this story. Or unless you have anything else to say.
I can't wait to hear the story. Continue.
So they're like, we need to get everybody off. But when you get off, you're going to be quarantined into an area where you're not going to be able to leave for an undisclosed amount of time. And we've been informed that the FBI is here, and they're going to be conducting an investigation on the airplane. I'm like, what is happening in my life right now? So I get off. I get quarantined for 7 hours in this one little area of the airport, in the corner of the airport. I watched every single bag get pulled off the airplane and searched by dogs, sniffed, mine too, all of them. It was everybody got interviewed and talked to. I got sat down with a cop and interviewed and talked to about my whole experience that day.
Just like they asked you what you did during the day.
Hey, what were you doing on the plane? Did you see anything in abnormal? Like 2 or 3 rows in front of me, a woman was messing through their pamphlet and found a letter that said, "I've left a bomb on the plane," and like it was dated for that day and everything. And so it had they were trying to track down like who'd sat in this.
Whoa.
So they did a full 7-hour scope of that plane with bomb dogs.
Whoa.
And machines, all kinds of stuff. We watched it, and then they were like, all right, you're good to go. There's no bombs. And then we just got back on the same plane.
Oh,
and flew off and went
I
home.
understand why you don't want to fly, dude. What?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That is insane, man.
True story, man. That was nuts that day. And
Did you have a connecting flight after that?
No.
That
was a 1-hour flight to Birmingham from Tampa.
Oh my god, from Tampa?
Yeah, it's a 1-hour flight. You leave at 8 a.m. and you get there at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
I just remember thinking, like, you're really going to put me back on that plane? You just told me there might be a bomb on that thing. Now, I did watch you search it for 7 hours, and I'm drunk now. That's all I can do at this point. They gave us access. They roped off at one point to this little bar, and they isolated us off, and we could go to that bar.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I thought that was funny, dude. Yeah, because it went on forever, man. That was, anyways, yeah.
Wow.
Good story.
That's a good story, man.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I should have more for you after this.
Okay.
That's afterwards.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I'll tell you some other funny facts about it.
Well, we're good on time, so.
So we done?
Yeah, any last thoughts?
No.
I think I like to do a little overview. We went through a lot of different things.
I was like, I didn't expect to talk to Crip about XRP. And
I wanted to. Honestly, I've been wanting to get a little more out of you for a couple weeks now, so I'm glad I did.
Hey, that's I.
Because the more I learn about it, the more I'm trying to get in tune with it and all that.
I hope so. The only awareness I bring to people when it comes to crypto is it's the future of money. It's the future of a lot of things. So it's the future of really finance, to try to get an all-encompassing word. And so, like, go ahead and start understanding it today. I refused Bitcoin for years because I didn't think anything of it. I didn't understand at the time. And I regret that. I made a massive mistake for sure. And I'm trying to look at other people and tell them, don't make the same mistake and just rely on where you are and what's going on right now, because in 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, it's going to change. The dollar will not always be the dollar that we know today. These values are changing. Bitcoin is becoming a monster. Cryptos are becoming a monster. They're taking over the world. Everybody's moving to it. They're solving problems from everything from transfer of value of money globally to storing value to decentralizing the internet and making sure that you can't just censor people anymore. So it's vast what we're getting into. And that's why I tell people this is the future. You don't have to get into XRP. I don't care. But go out there and find some cryptos and go do some educating on yourself, or just get into Bitcoin. Really, if you want to stay generic, get into Bitcoin and be done with it, and you'll be all right. Long term, you'll be all right. It has. If you look at the statistics of it, as long as you hold for longer than 3 years, you've never lost money. No one's ever lost money ever in the history of Bitcoin. As long as you've held for 3 years, and that's the worst, by the way.
That's crazy.
That's if you literally bought at the highest point ever and waited and sold at the lowest point. That would be like a 3-year kind of run. You got to wait before you got to get back up to whatever you were at some point. But like, that's the worst. As long as you just hold on, and yeah, you can be dumb and buy at the very top, and that sucks. But as long as you just hold on, you'll be all right. It'll go back higher again.
Yeah.
Year over year, it just keeps doing it. Get into it, even if it's $100, and then be done with it. I've already got a savings account for my daughter. In crypto.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. That's
what else did we
get
into
today?
It.
Tribalism.
For
sure.
Some tough political things.
I'm too open, so I know I can get a little subjects that people get like uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I don't, I'm doing an injustice to how I enjoy doing podcasting.
And
I don't want to hold back.
Yeah.
And if I have people tell me
we're not here to hold back.
Yeah. And if I have people look, if you get out of that like that I'm a racist and I don't even know anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know.
If that's your main takeaway.
You know, like if that's really what we're going
I'm going to go home and tell my mom you're a racist.
Luckily I know your mom, or else I'd be like, she'd probably believe you, you know? Like, who knows? I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know. I like talking about taboo.
I mean, that's what this show is. This is raw. We don't have a script. I didn't have a handful of questions that I was going to ask him. I did have a shower thought that I asked him. But other than that, you know, this is natural. So
yeah,
that's what I enjoy about what's in your world.
I just hope
because we're talking about what's in our world.
No, I agree.
And I'm referring to this.
That's true. Because I sit in my head all day. And I had to start with tribalism because that one's been...
Yeah.
I guess
oh, man, you texted me on, like, Monday.
I know. Well, it's because I keep reading things and watching things, and it's just like, oh, my God, this is getting so bad. I got to chat. So I'm kind of glad we derailed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I would have gone and just dug it. I would have beat it like a dead horse.
But I'm glad we talked about the things we did.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm kind of excited for the next time. I'm going to try to bring up crypto every time now. I'm going to force it down people's throats now.
Force it down my throat because I really need to, like, get on it.
Well, this is going to... I don't know. I say that. I'm sure the government will do some crazy-ass shit to crypto to try to stop everything. But this should be a pretty fun year for crypto. I really think that at the end of this year, Bitcoin's going to be nowhere near this price. Very much higher.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm kind of excited to watch it.
Yeah.
So. And I don't even really own that much Bitcoin. I own like $100 worth of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really care about Bitcoin per se. I'm in it for the money, not the long haul like safe investment. I'm going for the risky shit. Duh, you know. No, but for real, like it's stocks 2.0. It's value 2.0. People should know about it. So I'm gonna have to like beat that one in for sure.
Yeah, just do it.
All right.
Well, guys, this has been What's in Your World.
Give them your last thoughts while I go turn it off.
All right.
Are you meditating?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, back on to what we were talking about last week, meditation.
That was actually his thoughts.
Meditate. Take a minute. Breathe. Doesn't matter.